If you're a possible vice presidential pick, right now you likely know just as much about who the choice will be as the rest of America.
The thing is, you never really know. Nobody tells you. You know what they're doing to you and talking to you and interviewing you. You really don't know who else they're talking to.
Senator Sherrod Brown, who was one of the final three in the running to be Secretary Hillary Clinton's number 2, says in the final days of the 2016 selection process, he had one 5 to 6 hour long interview where he was grilled by 3 people.
It's a long, arduous process.
This time around for the Biden campaign, it's probably very similar.
They're going back and getting, asking one more question about a medical condition that somebody has or a financial issue or something involving somebody in the family or a position they've taken or something like that.
Professor Joel Goldstein, who has written 2 books on the vice presidency, says Biden's pick is arguably more important than most in recent history.
Both Vice President Biden and President Trump are the 2 oldest people ever to run for president. So whoever's elected is going to be the oldest person elected president in our history.
Biden, who, if elected, will be 78 when he takes office, says he wants to pick someone who will be ready to be president right away. Goldstein says the perceived frontrunners are not always the pick, and Biden is likely weighing many factors to galvanize voters who may be on the fence.
It sends a message to them about the selector so that the choice of the running mate makes them feel better or worse about the selector, in this case, Vice President Biden, by sort of identifying some of the things that are important to him, how he goes about making decisions, what are the values that he cares about.
African-American voters turned the tide for the former vice president in the Democratic primary, and in light of recent protests against racial inequality, Goldstein says picking a woman of color is an important part of the conversation, but previous tiffs, he says, are not. As voters saw earlier this week on Biden's note card, his past issues with a contender will not impact his choice. Goldstein says Senator Kamala Harris, for instance,
I'm going to now direct this at Vice President Biden,
who went after Biden on the first debate stage in 2019, is no different than George H.W. Bush criticizing Ronald Reagan's economic plan as voodoo economics during their primary campaign. Biden also sparred with Barack Obama when they were both vying for the presidency in 2008.
I trust him to make a vice presidential pick that, one, can run the country, and if something happens to the president, it's always the first thing, and second, can help him win the election. And third, Biden knows from his relationship with Obama that the personal chemistry and personal relationship is really important.
In Delaware, Alex Miller, Newsy.